ahead of them, the jobs of the future, with the industries that are going to help lift up our standard of living and allow West Virginia to ascend in the local and in the national rankings. And today, we're focusing just a little bit on some legislation that could lift up a certain set of students and our student athletes in particular. We all love the Mountaineers, and we all want to see our student athletes thrive when we're here. They're an important fabric of a university. And I'm a believer that when WVU succeeds, our whole state moves forward. It's an incredible thing, right? In today's environment, sometimes athletic programs in schools can be overlooked. But quite frankly, the athletic programs bring in a lot of money for the schools and are really a major force in charging up our local economies. Athletic scholarships give money for kids to go to college and earn their degrees, and they can teach our students important life skills, such as teamwork, instill work ethic, and give them the opportunity to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. Being a student athlete also means it can develop leadership skills, skills that are going to be important later in life. So that's why I'm really excited to be here today, because during the past legislative session, the legislature passed two important bills that are going to benefit our student athletes, two bills that I was very proud to sign into law. The first is House Bill 2595, which authorized higher education institutes to establish a nonprofit to manage a revenue sharing and NIL opportunities for student athletes. Now, for those who don't know what NIL means, I think most people here do, name, image, likeness. And this refers to the right of a student athlete to be compensated for the skills they're demonstrating on the field of play. Allows them to be compensated by personal brands for things like product endorsements, product brands, other promotional activities they may be involved in. Through HB 2595, the nonprofits are required to be controlled by the educational institution, and their goal is to maximize the revenue opportunities that they have and also the efficiency in conducting athletic business. I can tell you, as the governor's state, I want to do everything I can to help WVU and other higher education institutions succeed in this new NIL framework. That's why I'm proud to be here today. We have a second bill as well, HB 2576. It's called the NIL Protection Act. You know, when you talk about NIL, it can get pretty wild out there, right? There were people doing NIL before NIL was even legal. But it's important to put various consumer protections in place, and I was pleased to sign this bill as well. What does that bill do? It allows student athletes to receive their NIL compensation from the schools or their third parties and rely on an attorney or an agent. It allows colleges and universities to compensate athletes using their NIL monies and engage in revenue sharing with their athletes. It bans athletic associations, conferences, and other governing bodies from penalizing athletics with NIL-related activities. We've been involved in some of those issues in the past. It prohibits institutions from legislative appropriations to pay student athletes for NIL, protecting taxpayer dollars. Now, I know there are provisions in place, but I'm still going to be a staunch supporter as your governor. I want to help you succeed. West Virginia needs to not only win backyard brawl, it needs to be strong and dominant in sports, which is going to help our state. And I think we're well on our way to seeing that happen. We know that that legislation also restricts students earning NIL compensation from certain branded areas, such as alcohol, such as cannabis, controlled substances, gambling, tobacco. It also allows schools to put restrictions to prohibit endorsements that would pose a conflict of interest. We're going to talk a little bit more about conflict of interest tomorrow. That'll be a tease. And we're going to provide student athletes with the right to bring injunctive relief and permit universities and their employees to seek legal remedies if there's some obstacles under this law related to NIL matters. More than 30 states have passed NIL-related legislation since the NCAA adopted an interim policy in 2021, allowing student athletes to profit off their personal brands. Now, West Virginia joins those states to be able to open up those opportunities and make recruiting more competitive for the Mountaineers, for the Thundering Herd, and quite frankly, for all institutions across West Virginia. In conclusion, I want to say we're very grateful to be here today and to work with all you collaboratively to make sure that NIL becomes that reality and it's really reaching its full potential here at WVU. We're going to be supportive of you every step along the way. And I think, as you know, when we say things here, I don't just say them, we follow through, we get them done. I'll also note we're going to be here all day on Saturday for the Backyard Brawl. I believe we're starting out at 10 o'clock for the Mountaineer Mile. Where's our team? 10 o'clock? We have 10 o'clock Mountaineer Mile. We'd love to get as many people as possible walking around. When we did this down at the State Fair, we had over 300 people walking around the State Fair. I think touting our wonderful efforts to get in better shape is great for our state, great for our country. And I can report to you that since I started this March 29th, I've not missed a Mountaineer Mile. I still have more work to do in front of me in other areas, and I'm going to focus on that. But I think making sure that we're always identifying ways to get healthier as West Virginians is a very good thing, so we can move the needle on our healthcare outcomes, because that's such a critical part of this future success of our state. So I'm very grateful for being here today, and I want to start by turning this over to your wonderful athletic director, Ren Baker.
Well, I want to just say thank you, Governor. And many of you may not know, but the Governor is a former college tennis player. So when he was here speaking to the team, Coach Rodriguez tried to talk him into playing pickleball and wanted to play against him. And I let Coach know you'd have to take a dive. We need the Governor's support. So I don't know if you're built to take a dive or not, Coach, but these two bills were really important for us for a variety of reasons. It allows us to run a modern commercial enterprise, which intercollegiate athletics is becoming. If we want to compete in this new world, we have to be able to do that. And it also allows our student athletes, as the Governor said, to maximize their name, image, and likeness opportunities, have the protection of the state, and for us as an institution to be able to help them identify those and manage those. So it was a very, very critical thing for us to do. We have a ton of delegates and senators up here seated today, and we're very grateful and appreciative for all of your support. I know that you spent time drafting this bill and then moving it through both the chambers. So we're very grateful and thankful. Big weekend this weekend, so I'll just end by saying, let's go Mountaineers.
I really appreciate that, Ren. Mr. President, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Governor Morrissey and First Lady Morrissey. We're delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Teddy.
And we got the second dog here.
Also, we have the Governor talked about NIL and whom this will benefit. Certainly a tremendous benefit to the university, but it will help these student athletes. So I want them to introduce themselves and tell us where you're from.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox.
President Fox from Morgantown.
Woo!
General Russell LaFord from Columbus, Ohio. Landon Livingston from Leo, Indiana.
That's great.
Thank you, gentlemen. Coach Rich Rod, I know you have a thick playbook, but I like to think of these two bills as additional plays, additional kind of arsenals, if you will, tools in our arsenal, our tool belt. And I want to thank our legislators that are here, our elected officials that work so hard. Came from South Carolina, where we passed an NIL bill last year, so I saw the process there, and I think it even went more smoothly in West Virginia. We're very grateful for your support. Ren said everything I wanted to say, but as I looked up here at this Mountaineer football, as the Governor talked about West Virginia and how we're trying our best to help health outcomes and educational attainment, you could take all those words and apply it to the university. Toughness, effort, all-in, Mountaineer mentality. That's what this university is about. I've only been at this for 2 months now, and I've been to 22 of 55 counties, And time and again, I see that there's this grit, this moxie to the citizens of West Virginia. And I've also learned that they love their university. They love this place. And I've talked to a person the other day, and I said, when did your attachment to West Virginia University start? She said, it started when my grandfather came back from World War II, used the GI Bill, and enrolled as a student at WVU. And that changed our family. And those are the kind of citizens we have that love this university. And as the university goes, so goes the state in so many ways. I also want to introduce, as you know, Governor, we have 3 campuses. This campus here in Morgantown, we have WVU Tech and Beckley, and President Jerry Wallace all the way from Potomac State. Jerry, thank you for joining us from Kaiser. They have a wonderful athletic program there too. And I'll end like my colleague, Ren Baker. Let's go. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for those very kind words, and I'm really excited for the tenure of this president. And now I want to recognize, I know that we have a number of legislators who are here, so I want to thank all of you for coming. Half of you were at my last event where we're talking about the economic backyard brawl. We were over in Clarksburg, but now we're talking about the real backyard brawl and the work you did, the thoughtfulness that you put in to the NIL bill. And I'm really excited of all the work you did. There were a lot of positive things that happened during this legislative session. I want to applaud you for that. And I'm looking forward to working with you on a lot of other needle movers into the future. So I think one of your legislators would like to speak. Delegate Statler, who played an essential role in driving this to make it happen. Delegate?
Thank you, Mr. Governor. And I will say to you that there'll be about 60,000 walking that mile when they get here Saturday because they're not going to park at the stadium like you will, sir.
Yeah, that's true.
But laying everything aside, I will tell you that this was one of the easier bills that we were able to get passed, or these bills were. And I want to thank Mr. Baker and Marshall for coming. They come and met with the part of the leadership team early on in session and put the importance of how important this bill was to the programs, not only here at WVU, Marshall, but statewide. This is for every athlete that's out there in the state of West Virginia that has the opportunity to sell their name, likeness, and image. And for that, it was an easy sell to all the legislators, to the delegates, to the senators. I was just fortunate enough to be asked if I would lead sponsor this bill. And I can tell you, this was one of the easiest bills that I've ever sponsored to get across the finish line. Everybody knew in order to level the playing field, we had to bring West Virginia into the same arena that everybody else is participating in. So, Mr. Governor, I want to thank you for signing the bill.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, today is a wonderful day where we get to celebrate what the future is going to look like. And I will send a message to WVU, all the students, and all of the universities around West Virginia. I'm going to have your back. I think the legislature is going to have your back in this new world because we want all of our universities to compete and, quite frankly, to win. That's what's critical. That's why we're all here. We're not about participation trophies here at WVU, and that's certainly not what the backyard brawl is all about. So it's great to be here. And I don't know if the media has any questions from up there. I see we have BOI DTV. Any questions from the media?
Yes, Governor. I'm
Yeah.
Mike Nolting with Metro News.
Go ahead. Fire away.
Thank you. I'd like to know if maybe a clearer financial picture makes a PEIA solution a little bit easier in either a special or the next regular legislative
You
session.
think something makes PEIA fix easier? I'm just kidding. But look, we're engaging with a lot of the legislators. We've had a lot of good conversations. I've been very clear that we're going to keep working to address the financial challenges facing our state. I think everyone knows that. If any serious legislator knows, and I look at these guys, they know that we're looking at some significant increases in some of the cost of programs. PEIA, I think everyone knows that. Hope Scholarship, everyone knows that. Medicaid and some of the shifts that are occurring at that level. SNAP, revenue changes. So when you have that kind of dynamic change and you know that there could be some financial challenges ahead, you have to be prudent and you have to work and get ahead of the crisis. That's what we've been trying to do. And I want to applaud the legislators because they helped make that happen. We were able to make steps this year to begin moving better toward fiscal responsibility because we knew that the federal money's no longer there anymore, right? And so I think the steps we're taking are putting West Virginia in a sound fiscal place, and I'm excited about that. But PIA, we're going to continue to have those discussions. It's one piece of the equation. PIA represents 8% of the state's budget. And there are other items as well that we're going to have to look at very closely. And I believe that the legislature wants to do the right thing. They're not just looking at here and now in the election ahead. Responsible legislators want to help fix our state for the long run and make sure that West Virginia is going to thrive. So we're going to continue good conversations. I think fair-minded people can have different opinions about it, but I'm not going to stop when it comes to putting West Virginia in the best fiscal position so we can lift up our standard of living and we can soar.
When you talk about your comprehensive energy policy,
Yeah.
well, where do transmission lines that take the power out of our state fall into that plan?
Look, I think that whenever you're talking about energy transmission, whether you're talking about pipelines or other lines, I want to see a benefit for West Virginia. And so I know there's some that have come up. I've been an advocate for more substations and more benefits that flow to our people. If you're going to ask our people to do tough things, you got to get benefit in return. So that's the equation for me. We don't want our state just used as something gets set across to another state. We want to be in a position to help our citizens, to lift up our standard of living. If we're talking about ways that we can help the average income go up in West Virginia, to help people be able to afford to go out to dinner a little bit more, to be able to go to the movies, to do the things that they want to do. And to, by the way, we live in the most affordable cost of living state in the nation. We have to keep it that way. So when we're talking about these things, the benefits have to flow back to the people. That's what gives us our competitive advantage in the economic backyard brawl. Now, I'm going to point out something that I talked about a little bit earlier because it bears repeating. When I was doing a little research for our backyard brawl work this week, we found an interesting statistic that I hadn't really talked about before. Do you know if you look at our combination of income tax, property tax, and sales tax, when you think of it as an aggregate, West Virginia has the lowest combined set of taxes of all the states in the region. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't areas where we can improve. We can. But West Virginia is going to be in a position to end up being the lowest. We're going to get our income tax further down. We're going to make more changes. But we're already well positioned. Our regulatory environment's getting better and better. We're going to cut red tape faster than any other state around. So part of what we have to do is always look out for what makes us more competitive, and that applies to the question you asked.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions up there?
Governor, do you think you could highlight the advantages and opportunities that forming the NIL nonprofit offers the university?
Yeah, I think when you can have an organized structure for the benefit of the athletes, and you can actually put something in place now that it's legal, you give tools to the university and to the nonprofit to begin raising money, to leverage your alumni, your financial networks. I know that Mountaineer Pride runs very, very deep. And so you want to get people who are going to work and dedicate their efforts to a particular area and make sure that we're competitive. Look, WVU's in the Big 12. This is big time athletic sports. We have to make sure that we're competing with other schools. And you look at what's going on, and quite frankly, what the SEC used to do even before NIL, you know, we're leveling the playing field a little bit, right? Because now that it's legal, you don't get some of the schools that may have cheated in the past to have an advantage. West Virginia, through having everything above board, can now compete and win in this framework. And I think there are a lot of dedicated alumni and people, businesses who want to see WVU succeed. So this gives them a vehicle to do it. When you're raising money, you have to have a vehicle to collect that, and you have to have a mission statement. I think that the NIL nonprofit and the work that they're doing here has that very clear mission statement, and that's going to lead to very good things. Final question, DTV? You good? All right, guys, I want to say thank you, and let's go Mountaineers. Okay, I got to sign the bill. I forgot about this. We got to sign the ceremonial signing of the bill.
I reminded him. Use a different pen for this one.
Sure. One here. Hang on. There we go. Okay. You want to hold that? We'll get together. Here we go. Come on in. Great. This is a wonderful day, and there will be many more good days ahead. Yes, awesome. Thank you all, and let's go win on Saturday.
One more thing.
Okay.
Got one more thing for you.
Uh-oh. Don't put you may not want to coach. I don't know.
37. There you go. Your very own jersey.
Wow, that's pretty special. Huh? Let me look at that. That's pretty good. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Very welcome. This is really terrific, and I'm really excited to be here today. And we have another couple of wonderful activities coming. I'm looking forward to meeting with the board tomorrow. I think that's terrific. There's an opportunity for a lot of alignment in terms of what we're doing down in Charleston through our office and legislature and what WVU is focused on. It's a wonderful opportunity to have a good dialogue. So I look forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you, Rusty? Nice to see you. Good. It's a wonderful store, by the way. I'm looking around and I see a lot of old classic books, and I'm thinking, what better place could we come to shop for a sales tax holiday, right? This is a pretty incredible thing to do, and it really means a lot that you're here. And once again, it's great for me to be back in Beckley and to spend more time in Raleigh County. As you know, I've come down here once or twice since I've been governor, and you can be assured that I'll be back here many more times to come.